One of the interesting things about conflict is that it impacts everybody. We all know about conflict in one form or another. And I don't necessarily mean violent conflict. I don't mean what we hear about and read about in Iraq or in Northern Ireland or any other trouble spot in the world. Conflict impacts people, wherever people happen to be. Now that could be at work, it could be in your church, it could be in a golf club, it could be in the community, it could be in the family. And the problem is not really fully understanding what conflict is, but knowing how to deal with it. And that's one of the things that we're trying to teach about mediation. And mediation is a reasonably new phenomenon in the UK, because it's been around for a long, long time. In fact, as long as people have been talking to each other, mediation has been there. But as a process, as a potential replacement for something like litigation, it's relatively new.
It doesn't only allow people to move past their point of dispute, but it can also allow them to restore broken relationships. This is the hidden power of mediation. And the thing with mediation that litigation cannot do is it allows people a forum by which they can express how they really feel, what's at the basis of their feelings, what is causing them to feel this way, what is causing them to interact with other people in perhaps a very negative way.
You only have to look around at companies and organizations and you'll realize that they are bleeding away hundreds of thousands of pounds every year in terms of conflict losses. Things like lost productivity, lost broken morale, advertising fees, legal fees, the costs of industrial tribunals, things like that mount up to an incredible amount of money.
I have seen it used in such a way that families are restored to peace again, that the workplace becomes a place that people enjoy getting up off their bed, come to work with a smile on their face, and even actually will work longer because they're happy where they are.
So let me tell you a little bit about what mediation is and how it deals with conflict. And I can do no better than tell you a story about an imaginary situation. Imagine two sisters and an orange. And one sister says, I think I'm going to eat my orange today. And the other sister said, wait a minute, it's my orange. I bought it. And the other sister said, well, you may have paid £1 for it, but I loaned you £5 and you owe me, you haven't paid me back. So it's my orange. So they've got a conflict. Traditionally, at the moment, they can really go to court, they can go to arbitration, or they could go to mediation. Those are the three options. So if they go to court, a judge is going to listen, a judge is going to judge on the evidence that he hears, and a judge is going to say, well, I find in favour of the lady who paid the £1 for the orange, because she has acquired title. That's what happens under the law. So one sister would go home with the orange, the other sister would go home defeated, and the relationship between the two would be destroyed, probably permanently. Now, arbitration is much the same as litigation. It's kind of like a cut-down version of litigation. But there is a slight difference, and that is that the arbitrator has a discretion. So he would hear the case, and he would judge on the same principles, evidence, and he would come to a decision, and 99 arbitrators out of 100 would use their discretion and say, well, in fairness, give me a knife, give me the orange, cut the orange in two, and send the sisters off home with half an orange each. Now, let's say they did that. One sister goes home, takes a spoon, scoops out the fruit and eats the fruit, throws away the peel. The other sister goes into another room, takes her half, takes a spoon, scoops out the fruit and throws away the fruit and keeps the peel because she wants to bake a cake. There was a solution. There was a solution that would have given one sister exactly what she wanted, all of the fruit, and would have given the other sister exactly what she wanted, all of the peel. Now, the interesting thing is that mediation would have found that solution, and it would have found it in about 20 minutes. But here's the scary thing. If the court of law where the litigation was taking place, or the arbitration, sat from now until the end of this decade, there isn't a structure within those processes that would have enabled that solution to be found. So there you have the power of mediation. And just in case you're thinking that's an interesting little story which is meant to advertise mediation in a good light, believe me, in almost every conflict, there is something that you can find that represents the orange, and something that you can find that represents the peel, that will satisfy both parties. It's there, it's doable, and it's real. And you know something else? It works. So training people in how to handle conflict and training them to be familiar with situations of conflict is incredibly rewarding. That ability to control conflict, to make sure that they keep it under control, and the extra little ability to go that extra mile and help people to get beyond conflict and to repair relationships and to move forward with a much, much greater degree of contentment.